Good evening. Let's just wait for my graphics to catch up. There we go. And I'm on time. How much of a bizarre occurrence is that? And let me give a quick shout out, as always, because I'm live here on YouTube, to my Patreons. That side, I really got to learn which side that's on. And give a quick shout out to Reese, who is, yeah, I can't remember what tier that is now, but you got your exclamation points. Thank you very much. And also a shout out to Tim and Wayne for being 3rd tier Patreons as well. That would make you 4th tier, Reese. So thank you very much for your help there. We are getting there, and that should jump up a little bit in short order. So thank you very much for that. Yeah, I'm live. I'm just sharing this video to my various what do they call it? Social media. That's the one. I'm sharing it to there. But feel free to jump on the chat. We're going to crack on with this attack bike tonight. I don't know how far we're going to get. There's not many more shows for him, of course. He's very, very close. We got some leather to do, some white to do, and other than that, some gems and some transfers. But the transfers, like I said last week, might not be done at the same time. Might not be done on stream. Good evening, Tim. Thank you for joining me. That looks a bit weird. That's not in the right place. That was, wow, that was massive. It's not meant to be that massive. Don't forget, if you want to have your pictures shown here, don't forget to post them on my Facebook page or on my Twitter feed, or post them on your own social media. Make sure you use the hashtags on that side. There we go. You can see it. B of OPS. You can use B of OPS, B of OPS Live, or B of OPS Conquest if it's a Conquest magazine picture. And you can have your pictures in the slideshow here. I'm really not sure what's going on with that picture. That is not meant to be that big. I don't know what's going on there. That's bizarre. Really not sure. Maybe I'll look at that when I'm not on the camera. But feel free. Anyway, you get your you get tagged in that as well, as always. And I tell you what I will do though, actually, I'm going to quickly transfer the picture over. If we can see here, we got our nice little attack bike here, but there is something else right next to it that I am looking to show off right now. It's not completely finished, but let's, yeah, my thumbs are filthy. I've been doing lots of painting today. And let me just bring up my focus doobry, what's it? And there's my bot trying to be clever, trying to tell everybody what time they're going to see me. I need to sort that out. There we go. Let's bring this into focus. That's the wrong way. There we go. What do we think? Just one of many, many things that is designed. It's not finished yet, but try my hand at a new technique, which is the salt weathering technique. I don't think the red kind of shows up very well. Oh, hi Wayne. I didn't see your comment there. But what do we think to the bit of salt weathering going on there? We do have, I don't know if you've been watching my Instagram. I haven't put a picture up of this, but this is what we've got. Where are we? Here. This is what I've got them at the minute. We got the weathering, we got the rust down, and then I just cover them in salt before painting them. So yeah, something interesting to see. Hopefully on Tuesday night stream, when me and Reese are doing our kill team game. Change your plans in your life again. Ah, so you're joining us tonight. Yeah, so me and Reese is our kill team game. You should be able to see an entire table of industrial terrain. You may have seen some of the pictures. You're not on Instagram, Reese, but there has been some pictures on Reese's Instagram where she showed off a new table, which any eagle-eyed viewers would see just there is I went out and bought, and in fact, as you know, some pictures on my Facebook as well. You saw I went out and bought a new kill zone, so we're gonna play around with that. So not got Instagram, but you're tempted. Definitely go get Instagram, Wayne, and then your pictures can be tagged properly. Yeah. Insta is a great place for the hobby. It's brilliant. It's nice, and it's instant as well, so it doesn't really take up a lot of time. Hashtag Instagram for the win. Yeah. You don't know why you bother planning anything. Just take it as it goes. The barrel looks good. Thank you very much, Tim. Yeah, I kind of like that. And I tell you what, let me just show you. We have got. Let's grab this up here. Here we go. So yeah, we've got cranes. Look at the size of that thing. Now we're actually going to get one of these in the Conquest magazine. And technically, I am building something that I've not built before, and I haven't been filming it because I'm also trying something I've never done before, and that's the salt weathering. So yeah, we'll have to go with that. But yeah, so we got some. So this here is one of the containers, and this is the a rust coat. So essentially, it's as if the entire surface has been rusted. And I'm gonna I'll throw some salt on it and then paint it up and then chip the salt away, and the rust is coming through. So yeah, and then we have, I mean, this won't even fit. This is just before I finish the rust coat. So I've got browns and reds and yellows going on there, all from rattle cans. And then I start spraying on some rust effects, which isn't really showing up on camera very well. You see those spots along there. And along here, you see all those, you know, it's just, you know, the rust just adds to it. So yeah, hopefully on Tuesday all of those will be finished painting, and yeah, there's going to be a brand new fully painted kill team on mine and Reese's game. And if you're interested, you can find Reese at Chick Paints on Instagram. What was going on? Was super fun with the new kill zone. It was indeed. It was really fantastic. I'm surprised. It was well worth the extra money. I'm not a 14-year-old girl, so won't use filters. Why not? Have you seen some of the pictures I've been taking recently? I've been getting into it. I haven't used filters yet, but I might. The barrel does look great. Thank you very much. Facebook is for 14-year-old girls. Oh no. Speaking of Conquest, have I had a delivery? I'll give you 3 guesses. Instagram is a lot positive, more positive. Yeah, it can be. I mean, you do also get your trolls on Instagram as well, so it's not you know, a safe place, as it were. You don't get the drama like Facebook on Instagram. No, you don't, because I think it's a lot more difficult to type. It's not as easy to kind of get into a debate because you have to. It's on mobile only to start with. Only the chat and poke. I started using it more since you guys. That's a no then. It's a very much a no. Yeah, you will. Yeah, I tell you what. Every time I get a delivery, you will be told. You will see a post on Facebook because, you know, and I'm expecting it on Monday because it would have been 4 weeks since I last had a delivery. autocorrect. Yeah, but usually autocorrect gives you a correct word. I mean, I'm not quite sure what the positive. That's not even a correct word. How did autocorrect change that? You may have to try it. Get trolls on Facebook too. Yeah, you will get trolls everywhere. But on Instagram, it's I don't know. It's more with you see that right. Okay, so the thing is with Instagram and Facebook, right? There's a difference. My Facebook page is where I actually want to interact with people. And the difference between Facebook and Instagram is that with Facebook, you actually want interaction. It's a give and take. You want to go back and forth. With Instagram, you have to you share pictures, and people will like it and give you a comment, and that's about it. You know, so you will get the trolls, but with Instagram, it's just like, oh, here's some work I've done. Have a look. Oh well, that's brilliant. Well done, and then move on. With Facebook, it's designed for interaction, and that's why it is. Oh, it auto-corrected a Dutch word. Fair enough. Okie dokie. Right, so, what have we done so far? So far, I've shown off, and Wayne's going to log into it. Wayne's going to set up an Instagram account, which, do it. Now, I'm going to get on with this attack bike. So, what have we got left to do? We've got some... I do need to do some... let's bring him up, and let's have a look. First of all, I need to make sure I need to get some browns done on here. On the pouches, we're going to get those done. We do have some transfers to get done, so I'm not sure how that's going to do. Some gems, some white, and yeah, there's not a huge left to do, so we'll have a look to see what's going on here. No maybe, Wayne. Do Instagram. Do it. Right, okay. Yeah, let's get on with this. Speaking of doing it, right, let's get on with it. What have we got? Oh, my wet palette. Do you see I haven't touched my wet palette since Monday, and my paint is still wet and still usable, which is nice. Right. I can't believe I did that on Monday, you know. I still can't get over it. It's dinner time. Excellent. I've just had my dinner, so it was alright. I found a heavy bee today. Don't know where it was from, but attack bike. Yeah, oh, yeah. Heavy bowl. I could have put the multi-melter on it just for, some extra detail, but to be able to do things like heat bloom on it, but I couldn't be bothered. Light's a nightmare again tonight. I've been having a look at studio lights today, and to get proper ones it's going to cost about £600. So I have a feeling that's going to go on the agenda. I've actually got a Amazon wish list actually, so I'll put it on one of those. Nobody's going to get me one. You have oh, you've got an attack bike. Ah, I understand what you mean now. Speaking of Imperial Guard, I've got some Tempestus Scions on the way at some point soon. So more content for the channel. I'm aware that I haven't actually released any new videos yet because I haven't finished any of them. But I've got lots of videos planned, resusciting all of the half finished models that I've got on the table, on my shelf, ready to be sent out as videos. Tim has been waiting ever so patiently for a nice cork base video. Need to get on with that. Right. And a snow base coming soon, yeah, that as well. See, the problem I've got is it's easy enough to film what I'm doing, because essentially what I do is I get rid of all the gubbins on the screen here and I just record it. You were just thinking about the cork base, yeah. Yeah, I need to get on with it. And like I said, it's easy enough to record these videos, because get rid of everything I've got on the screen and I just record myself painting. It's fine. I just get on with it and paint and record it, and I've got it on my computer, and I've got a few videos on my computer like that. It's finding the time to edit them together, so that I can get them out as videos. Oh, that Reese's towel. Yeah, she's brilliant. She keeps saying, Reese keeps saying her faces aren't brilliant, but you look at the faces that she's put on Instagram. They're awesome. Now, what do I need for... I need Celestra Grey for white. What we're going to do... Let's put that down there. We get some Celestra Grey. White's another one of those things that people say are really scary to paint. It's really not. Need to figure out how to turn off the bot trying to get doing those auto commands. So if I can't get them down right. I think it's just the one set of wings on here, isn't there? I think so. Yep, Celestra Grey, non-oil, and then another grey, and then a white. What is it? I can't remember now. To be honest with you, Tim, thinning your paints come down to experience. Yeah, I mean, I don't always thin my lead belcher at all. Sometimes it's just a tiny amount of water, and then depending on what you're doing, sometimes you need a bit more. Thinning your paints is definitely one of those things that comes down to experience. And then once you've cracked it, you know what you're doing. Yeah, thinning over large areas, you'll need to thin it to get it nice and smooth. But things like the guns on here, and the metallics on here, I didn't. It was just a case of just getting a nice brush and spread it out nice and thin. You often get when people tell you thin, it needs to be like skimmed milk, but metallics doesn't tend to need to be that bad. Yeah, it would have done. Yeah, it would have separated really quickly. Because when you start thinning it, depending on what you're using to thin, um, the metallic particles just get too heavy and it just separates almost instantly. Unlike without, rather than being suspended in the fluid. And the number one thing you answer back, Reese, is flow improver. I thought you bought some flow improver, Tim. Or did you not get around to doing that? One day. So with a wet palette, I don't need to thin my paint because it's already thin. I did try putting the flow improver in my wet palette once. That was a bad idea. I just went and... I have gone through so long not doing that. And there you have, you've got it on camera. Dear oh dear. Quick, grab a picture. Put it on Instagram. Put it on Facebook. Soak most of it up. It's really not helping, to be honest. Right, I just need a little bit. Flow improver, artist palette. You got a wet palette, that's what you need. I don't, you know what I didn't, is because what I was doing, you see, I don't spill my nylon oil if I'm actually watching what I was doing, but at the time of knocking it over I was actually looking at the chat. That's why I knocked it over. But thankfully it's almost an empty pot anyway, so I don't need to worry about it too much. But it looks like I know what I'm doing tomorrow. I need to go into town anyway, so I need to grab some bits. And nylon oil seems to be one of them. Never mind. I think after going through 4, 5... I think I've been through about 6 bottles of Agrax Earthshade and nylon oil. So I think I was overdue a spillage. It happens. I mean, that's what I keep saying. Yeah, you will always favour a normal palette. Everybody's different. I got some with Conquest. You make it sound like I'm up to date with Conquest, Tim. I won't get my non-oil until... Is it issue number 7 that it came in? So I will get it next issue. But yeah, I haven't actually got it through the mail yet, so... You ordered some from Winning That Combo. It looks like the parcel is lost. Oh, for goodness sake. Really? It's taking a mick a bit, isn't it? Right. While I'm waiting for wash to dry, I'm going to do some blood drops. So I'm going to use the gem paint because I'm lazy and I can't be bothered to do lenses and gems properly. Well, I say properly, the hard way. So I put the silver down last week, and this week I'll pop some gem paint on. Look at that. The gem's painted. Nice and simply. Ain't nobody got time for messing around with that. You forgot. Yeah. It's a little bit annoying. I'm expecting a delivery on Monday, so we'll see if it actually arrives. And I've just realised I'm trying to do this the hard way again. I haven't taken him off the taken my guys off of the bike. I always seem to try and do things the hard way. And then now that I've done the blood drops, I will do the eye lenses as well, and again I'll do it the easy way with GW's technical page. So I do apologise, I keep doing that every time my hand goes near the that looks green. My white balance is well out of whack. Look at that. That is terrible. That looks blue. It's supposed to be green. Let me just see if I can do something about that, because that is dreadful. Where are we going? Where are we going? Are we there yet? Oh my goodness, what is going on here? That's Way Watcher green. That looks blue on that camera. This is dreadful. This is terrible. Right. We need to mess around with this camera, I think. Because something is terribly wrong with this. Just bear with me a minute and I'll try and get it right. Let's turn that off. Let's get a piece of white over there as well. There we go, that's white. So how does the white look white and that doesn't look that looks wrong? Dear oh dear. How can you trust anything I put on here if I can't get this right? What on earth is going on here? Right, that stops the flickering. Even when I do that, right. Oh dear. I do apologise for this. I really should sort this out before I get started, but for some reason there's I can't seem to find anything right with this. What is going on? You posted and tagged on my Facebook page. I will have a look at that. Wow. That's some dreadful colours going on there. Right. I'm gonna stop messing around with that now, and I will attempt to correct it in the future. I'm really not sure what's going on there. This is Waywatcher green, and it looks blue. Could be the light that's changing it. Right, there we go. Right. What am I doing? Righty-ho, yeah, I'll get that. I'll get one of those saved and tag you on that at some point. Well, after the show, I reckon. What do I want to do now? I need to get... Yep, we'll carry on with the wings. So, Uthuan Grey. So, I can actually do this straight from the pot. You see, this is what I'm on about. Sometimes you don't even need to thin your paints. I get this straight from the pot. As long as you get a nice sharp edge. Just go along here. Sorry, when I do wings I have to really concentrate. It's all about brush control to get those shadows where they belong. And pick out every individual feather. Just like that. I've only got to do that once more though, so it's alright. Because thankfully there's not many of them on the model. Now, so the brown that is on there, I am not going to spend ages and ages and ages edging the brown. But what I am going to have to do is clean a dry brush. Because I still haven't cleaned my brushes since Monday after my speed painting. Who's watched that, by the way? I can't believe how that show ended up, to be honest with you. It was only meant to fill up the space between, you know, between Mondays. I didn't have a magazine to open, I wasn't sure what to do. And somehow it just turned into, oh yeah, just get this Reaver finished. I wasn't quite sure how that one happened. Right, we're just waiting for this to dry, this brush. It's cleaned it in ISO, so it shouldn't be too long. Reese has been talking about maybe I should do a speed painting show. Yeah, it's not going to happen anytime soon. The only reason why I managed to speed paint a Reaver, and if you notice it was another Blood Angels, is because I paint so many of them that I could paint Blood Angels with my eyes closed these days. I do it so much that, yeah, speed painting isn't an issue. But you know, if I tried doing anything else, even another Marine, if I tried speed painting an Ultramarine or a Dark Angels or something, I wouldn't be able to do it. Because I don't know the scheme that well, so it wouldn't work. But speed painting might happen at some point in the future, but yeah, they wouldn't be. They probably wouldn't be the most interesting of models because you wouldn't be able to speed paint anything that's too intricate. You know, especially if I'm trying to fit it into a 90-minute model, 90-minute show. Speed painting would just be, yeah, it'd just be troops at least. And they wouldn't really come out that great either. I mean, the model that I finished on Monday, it turned out okay, but it's not brilliant. It will definitely get stripped in the future. Where's me browns? I need to organise my shelving. Can't find anything. It would be quite a stressful show, I reckon. And I don't think I'd be I don't know. I think I did all right with the chat on Monday, but I would say it would be a quiet show and I wouldn't keep up with the chat. But I think I did okay. But then maybe if I look at the model and I look at the mistakes that were made, I probably made those mistakes while I was chatting. So yeah, it would be a very stressful show. But I mean, if it's what the people wants, then I might consider it for the future at some point. Right, let's have a look. What am I doing next? I've got some bone to do. I think it's more fun to do it as a sort of a challenge. Yeah, maybe. As in, viewers will set me a challenge as watch a speed paint. Welcome back, Wayne. Yeah, I'm not so sure. I don't know how it would work. Yeah, it would be difficult. And would it be? I'm not even sure it would be particularly interesting either, to be honest. It's looking alright, look. We're getting towards there. We're kind of we're almost there. We're getting there. Not far off. I've just got a little bit more to do on this white. Here's the final bit of the white. Hang on a minute. What's going on here? Oh, for goodness sake! I've just gone and right. I've just gone and done something silly on Instagram. So right. Do I spot some red? It's very nice picture. Do I spot some red inside of the bullets? What, here? Yeah, because the bullets aren't been painted yet. Quiet again as I'm picking out all these individual feathers. Straight from the pot, yep. Sometimes I will do straight from the pot, depending on what it is I'm painting. I don't know if you noticed, but I still get a very sharp point. So I've still got the same control. Whoops. Apart from then. There we go. bronze, copper for the case, and metal for the bullet. Yeah, I just do the whole thing, copper or brass, whatever. The point? You mean the point on the brush? That's Series 7 for you. That's why I like them. Right, what do I want to do? I am going to base in Avalanche Sunset, I think. Right. Better things to do with me time than highlighter doing this headlight the long way as well. Underdog Painter, welcome and thank you very much. I have some orcs laying around and I think I would give glazing a try on the skin. Definitely, give it a go. Glazing is fantastic if you want to, so that you, for argument's sake, if your highlighting is a little bit too contrasting, you can use glazing to bring it back together a bit. You can get away with a lot if you're glazing. Yeah, you do. Do you ever have issues with getting a point on your Series 7? Never. I never get an issue with my points on my Series 7s. Some people have had them split on them, but you know, overall, just sometimes you just get a bad batch. But on the whole, Series 7s are perfect at keeping hold of a point. Very rarely do I have issues with it. I completely forgot. It's the 1st of November. That means, and it's after 6 PM, which means that the competition to win the barrels is over. So I need to have a look and see who's won that one. I think it's a skill I want to learn because I like the effect of it. Glazing is brilliant. In fact, you'll see me do some glazing in a minute. Well, technically, Wayne, you could argue that glazing is the second Agrax wash that you've done on your Death Guard, because it's less of a shade and it's more of a tint, even though you're using a brown wash to do it. And that's basically all glazing is. It's just you're just tinting the surface of what you've done. The same as when you did when I did the boils. You know, I painted it white and then painted over it with a yellow wash. It's essentially it's a glaze. It's not really a wash. It was a glaze. That's what glazing is. Is if you're sometimes if you're If you're using, even if you've never used a glazed paint, if you're washing but you're actually using the colour of the wash over the entire surface to change the original colour, you're glazing, essentially. No, no washing. Yeah, okay, yeah. It takes a bit of practice, maybe. I think all you need to do. I mean, if you, yeah, it sounds. Do you say it was patchy? Hmm. I mean, with Death Guard, I mean, you could almost get away with it. You don't really need to worry too much about glazing. About the about that. You could get away with it. You have two or three spares of so yeah, yeah. There is a few of them. I've done a little switcheroony with. I think I did it live, didn't I? With a little bit of a switcheroony. What did I do on Instagram? I used the wrong profile for a start. I'm actually doing it again now with the right profile. There we go. Done. No, I picked up one or two extra sets onto what we have had from the magazine so far. Oh right, yeah, yeah. I switched the backpacks and around on my duplicate Death Guard. Wasn't really a lot I could do with those. I think I did it live on the stream. I can't remember now. We give them a bit of a switcheroo and you just change them up a little bit. Oh, I did, didn't I? I broke a peg on one of his arms, I think, didn't I? Yeah. It wasn't as easy. You know what? Funnily enough, swatching those Death Guard around wasn't as easy as it was. Shush. Oh, it was you, Reese. I really need to mute my phone. Yeah, changing those Death Guard was harder than it was converting the Lieutenant Calcius. It was bizarre. I have no idea why it was so difficult. But, you know, we got there in the end. Rats, the paint wasn't quite dry. Never mind. Alright, let's get some of these, let's get some transfers put on this. I hadn't done the shoulder pads, I'll need to do that another time. But what we are going to do is we've got knee pads, and so this is what we're going to need for this. Yeah, we can use, let's use that. Do I have my kitchen roll? Ah, that one. Add some water to this. Alright. Knife. Where's my knife? What have I done with my knife? I've only gone and lost it, haven't I? I'd lose me blasted head if it wasn't attached. Alright, I'll have to use the old knife until I find my new one. Yeah, right. I just tore through the paper rather than cutting it. When does my comp end? It about an hour and a half ago. I'd forgotten about it until I saw that you'd drawn your winner. Let's get these. Microset and Microsol. The only products you need if you're going to do transfers. Anything else is just below par. That would be unfair actually. I think there are other companies that do similar products. Whatever you do, just don't use water. Not plain water anyway. It's no good. What are they for? Well, the Microset and Microsol you're about to see, and I'll explain it while I'm doing it. So essentially, right, so first things first, I've got these. I've got some kitchen roll and some water, and that's going to loosen the transfers on the paper. But while it's here, unlike in a bowl of water that you would usually originally do and grab to begin with, these will actually sit where they are without moving for as long as I want them to, and as long as they don't dry out, they won't go anywhere. Once they're loose, that is, anyway. And I'm just going to fill it up with a bit more water actually. Make sure this is really nice and wet in here. It's not like a wet palette, you can really soak this paper to the point where it's dripping wet, and as long as your transfers don't move around, you'll be fine. There we go, you see, there we go. Now they're going to start to move. There we go. And if they were in a bowl of water, the thing is, the paper could sink, but the transfers will float, and they're a bit of a nightmare. Whereas while they're sat on this tissue paper, as long as the tissue doesn't dry, they're not going anywhere, and I can leave them as long as I want. Now, so they'll go there, they're not going to go anywhere, and they will be there for as long as I want them to be. Now, first things first, you're going to need micro set. Now what this does is, one, it lubricates the surface of the model, much like you would do with water if you were using water. But the other thing it does is, once the transfer goes onto it, it softens the transfer, making it easier to bend around non-uniform areas, such as the corners of the bike. Now if you were doing this straight onto a flat surface, you could just about get away with just using water. But, and as you saw, I'd already glossed this surface last week. Okay, so what I'm going to do is then slide the transfer that I want onto the micro set. Now I'm going to dip it back into the micro set, cover the transfer, and wiggle it around until it's where I want it to be, which is a bit of a pain when I'm trying to do it on camera, so just bear with me a second. Keep your brush wet, keep the surface wet, keep everything wet, and you'll be golden. Just nudge it ever so gently until you're happy where it is, and I think that's about there. And then you can just leave that to dry as it is naturally and just don't touch it, or if you're careful, you can just dab off the extras. Just be careful not to move the transfer, but you can just dab off some of that excess micro set. But what's more important now is you now leave the micro set to dry. You just leave it, don't touch it. Right, just leave that to dry, and then we'll come back to that one shortly. Alright, but for now we'll move on to this one, and then we'll literally just do the same thing. Cover this in micro set. That was a cotton bud, yeah. Just to dab off some of that excess. You can use a bit of kitchen roll. It's just I've got plenty of cotton buds available to me under my desk. But just dab it. You do not rub it. Whatever you do, the transfer is soft. It's the part of it. They're slightly solvent based, or certainly the microsol is. The microset is very solvent based, so you really got to be careful with that stuff, because it'll really soften the transfer up. But there we go. So we're just gonna pop that one down as well. Dab some of the microsol over the top. Give it a nudge. You see, I'm just easily nudging it around. Everything's so wet that the transfer technically isn't even touching the model yet. It's just floating on a puddle of microsol. A proper video of transfers will probably happen at some point in the future, but for now we're just gonna have to live with this, and then just dab on All I'm doing now is essentially I'm just taking away the excess and just gently dabbing the transfer into the surface of the model so that the transfer is now touching the model, and that is going nowhere. And again, just leave it to dry. Don't touch it, just leave it. Alright, and then we do have the same under here. Now let's get him off of there, because I have a transfer to put on a knee down there, and I've got a knee on there to do. So same deal, Microsalt, grab the transfer, which again you see they've just been sat in that water. They're all loose because they haven't dried. They just carry on sliding around that backing paper without any problems. You know, I just realised actually I painted these knee pads black, didn't I? Because I was going to use the black knee pads, the black transfers. Never mind. The yellow one should look okay. Now, when you come into a knee pad transfer, first of all, they're bloody tiny, so just be careful with them. And second of all, and most importantly, when you're at this stage of putting the transfer on, you won't get it flat. Okay, it will not sit flush to the surface. It looks like a sticker and it doesn't look right. Don't worry about it. We'll get to that in the next stage. Where did I get my tweezers from? A car boot sale. You know those sorts of stalls at a car boot sale that sell like random tools. You can buy, you know, like the sort of stuff that you'll find in a Poundland. It was one of those stalls, and I did find some similar tweezers at the front of the stall for a pound. But then I found these nice ones with a wooden handle, and they're much better quality at the back of that stall for about £5. So, like I said, this will not sit flat. It looks creased, it looks crinkled. It doesn't look very nice. Oops, and I just moved it a little bit because I'm talking. But there we go. So that's fine. It's not. In fact, if I can try and get the focus right on this, let me just have a look at this. Let me just show you the focus here. Let's get this right where I want it. Let's get, there we go. You see that? So that is what stage it looks at now, and the rest of the model looks terrible as well, but it's because of how close we are to him. So see, it looks absolutely terrible. That's not a nice looking transfer at all, but don't worry about it. Let's bring that back into focus here. And then we'll move on to the next one. And then I'll grab that. They're also one of the they're push to open tweezers as well, which I really like. A lot of tweezers obviously are push to close, but I prefer the ones where they stay closed, because most of the time I just want to pick something up with it and work with it most of the time. So I actually like my tweezers to stay closed as opposed to me having to push them closed. Right, and then there's that one on down there. You can't even see that one down there, can you? We're just going to dab that down on there. Just getting rid of any excess microsol. Whoops. I shifted it again. There we go. Just get rid of the excess. It's folding up every time I push on one side. It folds up the other way because it will not stay flat. It's not going to go flat. It's fine. So what we can do now is this one should be dry here. And then what we're going to do is this is microsol. That was microset. Now we're going to use part 2, which is microsol. This is the proper solvent, yeah. And what this does is it actually starts to melt the transfer and causes it to lose thickness. And it's very important to be very gentle with this because your transfer is already soft because of the microset, and all we're going to do is very gently dab this microsol over the top of it and then just leave it to dry. You don't need to do anything else than that, and the same on this one as well. Just dab that on. Whoops, I just moved it. Now with this microsol on your transfer you can tear it very easily. So just be careful and don't touch it. Same here. So on the knee pad, I just dab it on. Put plenty of it on. If you wanted to, if you were wondering, I mean, you could probably go through my catalogue of paintings that I've done and see how many transfers I've put onto models. But this is the first bottle of this stuff that I bought about a year and a half ago maybe, and yeah, if that's the top, and I've used that much. This stuff goes forever. You do not need to be gentle and careful with it because you're literally using like one brush at a time. And then we're just going to dab on some of this microsol, and then that really needs to dry. And to be honest with you, that might be the only application of microsol I have time for tonight. If I do any more during the week, I'll figure out what I'm going to do with that in a minute. But what I do want to do is get some of this done, because I'm wary of the time. It's 7:45 now. It's getting to that time of night where I start to think about closing it down, and I've got some other things that I want to do. Oh, you knocked yours over. You probably told me, but I'd forgotten. Okie dokie. So, bit of Nurgling green. It's all dry in the lid, which is a nightmare. I'm using my good old Citadel starter brush as a dry brush because that's all it's good for anymore. Sorry, Wayne, I didn't see that. So it melts the transfer slightly. It's exactly what it does. Yeah, the microsol will melt the transfer, reduces the thickness, and helps it suck to the surface that you're trying to stick it to. and you will see the difference, especially on things like knee pads and shoulder pads. It properly just sucks it to the surface of what you're sticking it to. And then once you gloss over it, and then gloss over it to secure the transfer down, matte over it to get rid of the gloss, it looks painted. It looks like you painted it on. And in fact, actually, you've seen my Blood Angels kill team. Bring good old Sergeant Leonidas over. Let me just show you here. Right, let's bring that into frame that side and bring up this. Let's try and get them into shot at the same time. So you can see how creasy the knee pad one is. Just about, you got all those creases going on there. Leonidas's one, the only difference between that skull and the knee pad is how many applications of microsol is on it. The more, and then obviously I've done that one as well. Whoops, sticking his knife into the camera. They're all transfers, and the more applications of microsol that you put on, the flatter it'll get to the surface, and the creases will just disappear. I'd hardly say you nailed them. There's still plenty of them alive. In fact, I killed more of your Tau than you did my admech. So what's left to do on this thing? Right, so we got some brass to do. Let's do some brass. Let's grab some Balthazar gold, I reckon. I think the moral of this story here is that I really like Kill Team, but I'm not very good at it. You did pick up the win, yeah. When we play on stream and we're actually playing, we'll see how it actually plays out. We don't have rabbit when we're playing off of camera. To be honest, we ramble a bit when we're on camera as well. Yeah, that rail rifle. I don't like that rifle. It just deletes a model. It's just like, oh yeah, that's gone. Never mind. Move on. Yeah, I don't like that. Didn't like it in 7th either, to be honest. Not necessarily the rail rifle, because I don't think I ever came up against it, but I don't like guns that just says, yeah, that model, I don't want to see it anymore. Although I suppose I am just as guilty as that using things like Captain Slam, but yeah, it does have the option not to work. As long as you're having fun. I mean, the thing is, it's a win or lose, it doesn't matter as long as it was fun. It's like, you know, I lost a Kill Team game the other day, but, you know, it was fun to do it. I'm actually using a starter brush. What am I doing that for? I've got it in there nicely. Yeah, I mean, it sounds like a really millennial thing to say, but as long as you're having fun, it doesn't matter if you win or lose the win 40k. See, I got a problem. I got to figure out what I'm going to be playing on Tuesday on stream, because we do like to play with painted models. The only thing I've got is power armor. I've got my Blood Angels, or I've got my Death Guard. Maybe maybe I should just run 100 points of Poxwalkers at 3 points a model. Although I just did the math in my head, at 3 points a model I'll only be able to get up to 60 points before I hit the 20 model cap. And I'm not really sure Poxwalkers would be able to do much. Poxwalkers boo. They would have done really well on that mission, actually, if you think about it. You get a point for every model you kill, and a point for every model that disappears into a container. I don't know, because with Poxwalkers you got the disgusting resilient and the ability to only get flesh wounds as opposed to actually just die. Yeah, there's a chance that the Poxwalkers would be able to do it. But then once the containers are full, the Poxwalkers then have to survive until the end of the game. That would be a very interesting strategy. It's a lot of millennial thing. I've been playing since 1990 and I lose about 90% of them. My aim is always have fun. Yeah, I mean, no, what I mean by millennial is it's the taking part that counts. Yeah, but I agree with you. I mean, it's at the end of the day, it's a game. You know, it's as long as everybody's just having a good time, it really doesn't matter. As long as you're enjoying it. If it's not fun, then there's no point in doing it anymore. And that's pretty much why I stopped playing 40k, because it just stopped being fun. It wasn't fun anymore. Alright, what are we doing? Right, let's get some lead belcher. I have a sneaking suspicion that next week might be a new project. This one's pretty much done, with the exception of transfers. And if I do transfers during the week, because watching me put transfers on the entire model will get really boring really quickly. Because it's a lot of sitting around waiting for microset to dry. And that would just get really boring. So I might need a new project next week, which means you Patreons get to choose what it will be from the shortlist, of course. Oh, my balls up of the light. Stopped paying attention. My adage too, always has been, I hate playing against competitive players. I still find 40k fun and I'm enjoying it. I don't enjoy 7th and finally stop playing 40k. 8th say 40k for me, yeah. Alright Tim, thank you very much. New project, yeah. I'm not sure what I'm going to do as a new project. We've got some chaos bits and pieces kindly donated to the channel by Reese. I have a knight that I could do. I'm not sure what scheme I would do it, but again, you've got to think about a knight on a Thursday. It could take a long time to do it, and some of the shows might not be as interesting. I've got some more Blood Angel stuff, or I don't necessarily need a donation of a mini. I've got a Space Wolf to do, but I was going to be doing that as a video by itself. I do have that Aspiring Champion. Or depending on the mini, I've had a few commissions come in and a commission go out. It's not beyond the realms of possibility that I could maybe start a specific miniature that somebody might want to see me do. It depends on the miniature, of course, but we could, if there's some things that people really want to see me do, we got to think about what a Thursday show that might be interesting to watch. I know at some point in the future, and I think we need some more Patreons to help support it financially. I want to do so in succession. These Thursday shows is go through all of the Primarchs from Forge World and paint those up. That would be cool. But that's something in the future. Khan would be a nice thing to watch. Right, okay. I'll have a look. Is that a plastic or is it a yeah, the Forge World character series will probably be a little while in the future as yet, because we do need that. That will need to be financially supported. I mean, individually they're really not that expensive, but if I need to pay for them one after the other, it would, depending on, I can't just rely on commissions to pay for that. Khan would be a nice thing to watch. How much is Khan? And is it a plastic model or is it fail cast? While I'm here, actually, I think that's dried a bit, so I will add some more Microsol. So this is what I'm saying about these transfers. Now it's literally just a case of waiting for it to dry and then just another application of Microsol. You don't do anything to them. You just literally add some microsol to them, and that's it. That's it. Just dab microsol on it, and then just leave it to dry again. And you repeat the process until the transfer is flat. And if I need to continue that during the week, you can rest assured that's all I'll be doing. 40k Khan is in plastic. I said fail cast. Yes, I did. I always do, because I don't like working with resin most of the time at the best of times. And I don't have a huge amount of experience with resin at all in general. But even I can't stand it. Khan is £22. Trying to open up. CHARN. Oh, it's got the over the top. Oh, it's a really busy model. It's a possibility that I'll add. I could possibly add him to the list, to the shortlist at £22. I might do. Yeah, I might add that to the shortlist. We'll see. Right, how are we doing for the rest of the model? I tell you what, guys, I think that the end of this model has kind of crept up on me. There's a few bits and pieces left to do, but it's almost finished. A few bits of tidying up to do. This give it a green screen. It's you know, just what I do. Just on there. I'm not spending ages doing things like you know, painting the screens as I used to do it. I haven't got time for that. Maybe if I do the I think if I do the Forge World, I would like to do the Forge World character series, but I want to be able to do things like wet blending for things like that and really go into town and really get them done really nicely. So it might be a little while off while I wait for my skills to improve as well. But I might have a look. I tell you what. Shall I have a look at the Games Workshop website? When we start a new project, shall I keep it to the Thursday night stream? Shall I keep it to more of a HQ / named character project? So whenever I'm rather than just doing a generic attack bike, shall I do characters? What about a vehicle? Well, you want about things like a tank. Now, I did think about it would be nice to paint the which one was it? Was it the Dark Angel Razor Wing or something like that? I thought that's a really not Dark Angel, sorry, the Dark Eldar Razor Wing. I thought that's a really nice model. But again, it kind of, I think to do that one really nicely, I'd like to do that on the airbrush. So but yeah, I'm thinking perhaps the Thursday night stream should be named character projects. So you got things like Khan the Betrayer, or you've got, I don't know, things like the Necron Catans, or perhaps not Mephiston, he was terrible, but you know, I could go into things like doing Cypher, and you know, people that have got a name, so that you know, not only am I doing a project once a week, but also, you know, one, they're easier to give away for a start. You know, if I'm doing something like I've no idea, like an Imperial Guard named character, or an Eldar named character. You know, those are armies that I have no interest in, and they've also got no use in Kill Team for a start, which is where I'm playing. So I could paint those things, and I would enjoy painting them, but I've got no use for them. But because they're a named character, I haven't got to worry about, oh, that's not somebody's particular craft world, or it's not somebody's particular Imperial Guard regiment, you know? And so when it comes to doing those sorts of things, I'm like, right, so I've done this model and I don't need it, I don't want it, so let's give it away. I've got the ability to give it to more people. Because, you know, you don't need to worry about it, you know. You don't need to worry that it won't fit in your army because it's a named character. They've got their own fluff and their own backstory. I think I might have talked myself into it. Makeda Fireblade. See, every time, funny thing is, every time somebody throws a name at me, I have to go on to Games Workshop and have a look at it. You see, the thing is with my Kill Team is that, one, when I start painting something for my Kill Team, I kind of just want to get it done, because my Kill Teams I don't want lying around. Even though I've got some stuff that hasn't been painted, but you'll find that, you know, once I start painting it, I get it finished. I get the whole Kill Team finished. So, okay, yeah. Kada Fireblade. So is that a named character? Is it, or is it a? The trouble is I don't actually know. Oh, so he's not actually named, it's just a rank. You see, like I said, the problem is with doing things like that is a Kada Fireblade, for argument's sake. Once I've done it and I wanted to give it away, you know, the one on the website is yellow. Your, I know, Reese, yours are red. So the problem is, if I give it to you, if I gave it away to somebody who has red towel models and this one's yellow, you're either going to keep it to one side and never use it because it doesn't fit, but you want to keep it as it is because, you know, it was a prize or whatever, or, you know, you just like the model, or you end up, you know, as soon as you get it through the post, you strip it. And so, you know, painting it and giving it away has kind of felt a little bit of a waste. So if I can keep things, I mean, I know there are only so many named characters, but I mean, for now, if I can, for argument's sake, yeah, I don't know. I've got an idea. I think I'm gonna, yeah, keep an eye on your Patreon. Keep an eye on your Patreon feed. I think I've got an idea about what I want to do. Is if they've got a proper name and if they've got a backstory, then, you know, painting him up like that, in the way that, you know, the backstory is, it's gonna keep the model pretty much as it is because that's what it is. And then when somebody wins it as a prize, they'll either, yeah, put it to one side because it's a prize and it's a good looking model, or if they've got that army, you know, they're not gonna instantly want to strip it. We'll see. I've definitely got some plans. Got some ideas. Right. Very, very quickly, what I want to do is I've noticed that I haven't done the rubber on the armour. Yeah, exactly. Things like Sly Marlborough. That's exactly what I'm talking about. I could do him. I mean, I don't know how much he is, and I'll have to have a look. Um, yeah, exactly. Yeah, people with a name, people that have got a backstory, so that they're gonna have to, So when it, when I've painted it, when I finish painting it, somebody receives it, they can look at it and go, yeah, I know who that is, even if they don't play that army. And I mean, I'm not necessarily talking about just copying, colour for colour, Games Workshop, but it just means that, when you receive, well, if somebody received, Calgar from, if I did that as a Thursday night project, and I've given it away because I don't need an ultramarine model, I will paint it as an ultramarine as Calgar. Because then when somebody receives it, they're not going to open it up and go, well, it's a Calgar model, but it kind of looks like Dante, you know? And then they're instantly just going to go, right, that's straight into the Detol. Because I can't use it. And I think that's important. I mean, as much as, I put my heart and soul into these models, and sometimes I look at them and I go, yeah, they are some awesome looking models. They're designed to be played with. So I don't necessarily want to give models away just for people to put them to one side. £15. Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's 15 quid. Yeah, they. Yeah, but yeah, but if you think that's bad, look at the Primaris Librarian, £22.50. And you think that's bad? Have a look at the Death Guard Primaris, not Death Watch Primaris stuff. People complain about scalpers on eBay. Yeah, they got nothing on GW. Right. We're getting close to the end. We're almost finished. And I've overrun today. I think we'll go on for a long one today, just to get this guy finished. Get this finished. It does take the piss a little bit with the Primaris stuff because, I mean, you see, the thing is, when the Death Watch Primaris stuff hit, and people started absolutely going mental for those prices, I kind of looked at it and goes, yeah, I can kind of understand what they mean, why they're selling it at the price that they are. Not saying that they should be doing it. It's just I can understand that it's for argument's sake a Death Watch Primaris Librarian, £22.50 for the Librarian, and then another £5 on top of that for the Death Watch upgrade sprue, or however much it is that they're charging for it. I understand where the prices have come from, but I don't think it's necessarily paying that much. Which is why I'm kind of glad that, most of the time a local gaming store will have a discount. You won't have to pay quite so high on the prices. Or you're close to finishing the model as well. Samesies. No, I'm about to finish this as well, actually, I think. So close to finishing. I'm just gonna have some final touch-ups. I reckon if I look at this model, I think it's because I'm on stream. I don't tend to look at exactly what I'm doing, but I think I'm pretty much done here as well. I know that I've got the I've got some transfers to finish. I mean, I didn't put company logos on these guys yet. One reason for that is I don't actually know what company I'm going to put them as. Because everybody does second, because it's the only blasted transfer that we get. But I'm not really that bothered of that second company, so I'm not 100% sure what I'm going to do. Landing Games, yeah, definitely. I tagged them in a post the other day, actually, when I finished. When I bought the Kill Team expansion, which, with any luck, will get finished painting. I've got some. I do have some commissions coming in soon. Just waiting for them to arrive in the post. So I'm trying to get as much done of the terrain before they arrive, because it would be nice to get those things on the table looking nice for the stream. And also, actually, with our game last night, we realised that this new kill zone, the terrain isn't quite so high, and so it should be easier for us to, when we play, is to have a nice static camera over the entire battlefield, and you won't miss any of the action. This is something I was really worried about. We keep moving the camera all the time, and it's really difficult, and I imagine it's quite disconcerting watching when all of a sudden the camera starts moving around. It's not nice when a camera is being held by hand and just moved around. It's alright if it cuts to, you know, a different view, but when you pick a camera up and start moving it around, you get proper seasick sometimes. So hopefully with the new kill zone, we'll get the camera in a nice static position where you get to see the whole battlefield, but you don't necessarily need to have it moving around all the time. So hopefully, if you tune in on Tuesday, hopefully that will be an awesome stream. Now, just before I do end tonight's show, I am going to add another layer of, so if you realise these, I'm not going to bother with these ones because they're flat. These transfers, they're flat, they're fine. I am going to add another layer of microsol to the ones on the knee. Again, being careful with it before we end tonight's show, and then I will bring them up to the camera, because even now you can see a difference in the way that it's laying. It does make it harder to watch. Yeah, exactly. I know. I would much prefer, when we're playing a game, to have about 3 cameras. Hey, Wargamer Viking, welcome. Yeah, in fact, you're just about to see this model is pretty much finished. I was just saying I'll finish the transfers off in the future, just by adding some microsol to it. But if I bring up, a bit out of focus for now, but if I bring him up here, you should be able to see, since I first put that transfer on, currently the microsol is wet, so it doesn't look, it hasn't worked completely just yet. But even since when I put that transfer on for the first time, you should be able to see that that's a little bit different. It's starting to pull together. And over the course of the next, what I'll do over the week is I'll put on the the chapter badge using the same technique, and I will continue to add microsol onto that so that you can see that, and I need to just tidy up some of these bits and pieces. But other than that, let's pop him back on there. Let's pop him down there. Let's pop him on there. Whoa. So I will sort the transfers out, but I will not mat them back down again. I'll leave it there. The only thing I'll do to that during the week would be to add the microsol, so it's all nice and flat, ready for next week. Other than that, the end of this model kind of crept up on me here. It's kind of finished, which I'm kind of happy about. There we go. So our discussion about we need a new project is pretty much, yeah, it's gonna happen now, I reckon. I would like to get a base for this at some point, but I think I'll probably do that another time and see that. So so you will get to see a picture of this pretty much finished tonight, if you keep an eye out on my Instagram. But what I will also say is, anybody who is a $1 Patreon or more, over the next week, between now and next Thursday, I will get to I'll get a shortlist up on Patreon, and if you're a $1 or Patreon or more, you can decide what I start working on next Thursday. I'll end the voting on Monday. Yeah, I'll end the voting on Monday, because then that should give me a chance, depending on what I need to do. I'll end it on Monday so that you can, so that I've got time to get the model in time ready for the show on Thursday. And it will be, I think the Thursday night show will become a named character kind of show. So, you know, as you know, as we go through it, each project will be a named character. So, you know, that way, if, like I said, if we get to characters that I don't need, I'll just give them away. But then they're also models that people would be happy to own and not feel the need to just strip straight away because it's the wrong colour. You know, there's no point in me sending, you know, me painting up a Blood Angels attack bike and sending it to somebody who, you know, wins some sort of giveaway who collects Dark Angels or something like that. You know, it just doesn't, you know, especially considering I've put things like the Blood Angel blood drop on the side there. Yeah, I think it makes sense. Now, unless of course, you know, this sort of project, this Blood Angels attack bike, you know, that will be for me. It'll go up with the rest of my army and so on. So you can kind of see, hopefully see where I'm coming from. But there we go. That's pretty much finished. I just need to just finish those transfers off. So I will microsol during the week and get those really, really flat. And then at the top of next week's show, I'll show you them. I'll then mat them down, and then the model will be finished at the beginning of the show on Thursday, because there's really nothing else left to do. I just need to glue them together. So we'll get that done, and then yeah, keep an eye on Patreon. So other than that, thank you for joining me. I've overrun a little bit, 26 minutes past 8 now, but I figured it was better to do that today rather than spending 26 minutes of the show next week and then realizing, oh, I need a new model to do. So, and actually, while I'm here, let me just see. I will do a post on my Facebook page to actually tag the winner as well, but I will go through the competition to win the alright Reese, I'll see you on Tuesday for Kill Team, but the winner who is going to win these barrels, I will have a look at the pinned post to see if I can find the giveaway post. Is here. We need to find out who has got the most likes on the caption competition, so we can go through on there. We've got one that was let's have a look. This one was tagged "Like me or I will unleash my tiny soldiers on you." That got 2 likes. This one got tagged "Okay, who threw the melter bomb?" That got 1 like. I've got one here that didn't get any likes at all, but this one is how to solve the menacing known oil spill, which I did tonight, which was a real pain. I did spill known oil, and if you missed that, you can go back. I did. I don't usually spill my known oil, but I did. This one with 3 likes on it. High on hashtag plastic crack, which I thought was very funny for myself. And then I did have another one that says, the funny thing is welcome to the group, which is at the end of my videos that I do off when I'm not live, is the Wargamers Unification group, which helps my channel no end. I certainly got a lot of my channel increased in subscriptions, subs, greatly once I did that. Hashtag, this one is hashtag rage so strong we glow crimson. Back when we just about started doing this. This was after the first show, that was, of the attack bike. And then we have one here that doesn't have any likes either. It says looks like a bobblehead. I assume he's talking about the picture of me in the corner on my computer screen. But the winner, that's all of the entries that we had, which is more than I thought I was going to get. But the winner is Andy Lewis with his I'm high on hashtag plastic crack with 3 likes on that one. So Andy, if you happen to be watching this, well done. And I will make a post announcing your winning on that one as well, and you can contact me and we'll get the barrels sent out to you. That was my first giveaway, to be fair, and that was not a massive prize, but it was my first giveaway for reaching 100 likes on my Facebook group. I'm not quite at 100 likes, 100 subscriptions, 100 subscriptions on my YouTube channel yet. So we will get, we'll have a look to see what we can get, how many subscriptions we can get. Where are we at the minute? Let me have a quick look. Right now, 77 subscribers on YouTube. So I'm sure I'll probably find something to give away once we reach 100 subscriptions on Facebook. And there might be some giveaways on Instagram at some point as well, when we start hitting some of those big milestones on there. I haven't got it to, I have been past a few milestones and kind of missed them, which is a shame, so we'll get on with that. So that's all of that. Don't forget to have a look at all of my links, I'm trying to find the words, in the description in the below, and they have scrolled through in the chat as well. And there is also, about to scroll through the chat will be the times that I am live. So don't forget, my Patreons will get to choose what the next project is on Thursday next week. And I'll say thank you all for joining me tonight. It's been brilliant. I'm really happy with the way this has gone. And yeah, Thank you all for joining me tonight. Thank you for watching this one, and I'll catch you in the next one, where hopefully I'll have had a delivery for my Conquest magazine. Keep your eyes out for that. Keep an eye on my Instagram. Keep an eye on Facebook and all of that jazz. Well done, Andy, for winning those barrels. And yeah, thank you all for watching. I'll catch you in the next one. Alright guys, Dara.